Welcome to Grow with Miss Nancy. I'm so glad you came back for another story around the campfire while we camp. This has just been so fun, and every night we could tell another story. But let's tell another story about Daniel's friends this time, because this time Daniel was off doing something and he wasn't around. Remember that they're exiles, they're slaves to King Nebuchadnezzar. He's a very powerful king, and he is very much wanting people to do everything that he says. Well, he decided he was going to make this humongous big golden statue. This statue was 90 feet tall and 9 feet wide. You might wonder how tall 90 feet might be. Think about a tall pine tree. That's how tall it would be. It was huge. And he set it up, and then he invited all of his officials and noblemen to come and worship it. Uh-oh. Jewish people are not going to worship something like that. They're only going to worship our God, right? Oh my. Well, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego knew they were not going to bow down to that nothing but a golden statue. That was not a God. Their God was the only true God. So when they played all the music and they blew the trumpets and all the many people bowed down to this big statue, these three men refused. And they stood there and they stuck out like a sore thumb because everybody else had bowed down with their noses to the ground. Well, the king was not happy about that. And he called them over and he said, "Don't you understand that you're supposed to bow down when the trumpet blows? You're supposed to bow down to this statue that I made. And if you don't do it, you're going to be put in a fiery furnace and be burnt up." Well, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego said, "You know what, King? You could tell us to do that, but we are not going to bow down to that. We are only going to bow down to our God. Now, our God may save us if we don't, and you put us in that fiery furnace, or he may not. But no matter what happens, we are not going to do it." Well, you can imagine that really made the king mad. And he gave him one more chance, and they blew the trumpet with all of the music, and those three men just stood there. They were not going to bow down to anything but their God. So the king was so mad, he said, well, let's make that furnace 7 times hotter than it usually is. And then we're going to throw these men in there and burn them up. So they made the fire 7 times hotter than usual. And they found the strongest men they could. And they bound the hands and the feet of the 3 Hebrew fellas. And those strong men took them over to that fiery furnace. That furnace was so hot that it burned up the guys who were just throwing them in. But the king looked and he said, "Wait a minute. Didn't we throw 3 men into that furnace?" And the people around him said, "Yes." He said, "I see 4 men walking around, and one of them looks like the Son of God." Well, you and I know who that was, right? That was Jesus. Jesus came in with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and walked in there with them. Well, they said, "Well, get them back out. Come on out, come on out, come on out." And the 3 of them walked out. Their clothes were not burnt. Their hair was not singed. They did not even smell like smoke. And the king said, "Oh my goodness, your God really truly is amazing and strong and powerful." You know what? God is with you, whatever you're doing. And our big idea is, I'm not alone, God is with me. No matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, you don't have to worry about God, about anything going on. God is going to be there. You don't have to worry that, well, sometimes God will be there and sometimes He won't. He will always be right there with you, no matter how hot the fire is. Keep that in mind, because sometimes we go through tough times, and it's important to know God is with me. He is on my side. He never changes, and He loves me very much. Well, hey, I tell you what, come back next week and let's tell another story about Daniel around this campfire, okay? Bye.